If you're shopping for a quality winter tire, you're probably familiar with the Michelin X-Ice or the Bridgestone Blizzak. I mean, these are brands that most of us have heard about. But there's a niche winter tire manufacturer from Finland that's also worth considering. The company is called Nokian, and they've been in the winter tire business for a very long time. Now, the reason they're worth your consideration is because they make winter tires that always seem to score well on independent third-party tests, even when they're compared with things like the X-Ice and Blizzak. That's why I think Nokian is worth considering if you're shopping for a premium winter tire. And that's why I hope this video, which is not sponsored by the way, will help you see who they are and whether they're really worth your time and your consideration when you're trying to figure out which winter tires are best for you and your family. So Nokian is a brand from Finland, is that correct?
It is, yeah. We invented the winter tire in 1934 in Finland.
So tell me a little bit about this, because I think that for most people, Nokians are a kind of a niche product. They know the bigger brands, the Goodyear, the Pirelli, the Bridgestones, but they don't often think of Nokian when they think of tires. Am I correct in that analysis?
I think in many ways you are, and I'll give you a story that may illustrate that a bit and illustrate our regionality, to this point at least, in the United States and Canada. And that is that when I took this job, again, 5 years ago, September of 2018, my family, of course, was excited for me. It seemed like a good company, and they were glad that I found a place that I was excited to work for. And my dad said, "Oh, that's great. So you'll be working for a Korean company. That's really cool. That's going to be fascinating." And I had to say, no, we're finished. My dad, by the way, lives in Nashville, Tennessee, where, of course, winter tires are almost unheard of. But then my wife is Canadian, and her family not only knew who Nokian Tires was, knew where we were from, but also was giving me the product pitch. And so I think you're right to a sense. I mean, I think in the Southeast, where we now have a factory, we're growing our brand awareness here around all season and all weather tires, but it is not as strong.
When we think of Nokian, like the Hakkapeliitta versus some other winter tires, it's a premium priced tire?
Sure. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
still reasonable. You know, we're not going to be $100 per tire more than another good manufacturer. But yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm thinking like our viewers are thinking, okay, well, why would I want to spend the extra on Nokian Hakkapeliitta versus, some other winter tire? Like, what am I getting for my money?
Getting an insurance policy. You know, I think there are good tire makers out there who are making good winter tires, but I don't think that when we're driving in, a few centimeters of snow around a hairpin turn in the mountains, or when we're taking our families on our commute, I don't think we're thinking about, oh, I'm glad I have good tires. I think we want the best tires for that condition. And, tires can be fairly expensive. They're an investment nobody wants to make. Very few of us enjoy buying tires, but we're not really investing in tires, are we? We're investing in peace of mind. And I know when I'm driving in winter in Canada, as we do every year, visiting family in Quebec, it can be pretty scary out there. And if you are only on sufficient okay winter tires, it's not enough, especially when you consider the financial calculus of crashing and how expensive even one wreck will be to our time, to our safety, and also to our pocketbooks. So I think the investment pays for itself tangibly, but also in terms of peace of mind. And I'm certainly not here to denigrate any other tire maker. There are good winter tires out there, but we invented it. We test our winter tires at the largest company-owned test facility, northernmost as well, up north of the Arctic Circle. So I think that's the question, that's the way we answer that question. It's like there are a lot of fine tires out there, but if you want the right tire for the extremes, like you see in many parts of Canada, the peace of mind is what you're paying for, and that's easily worth a few bucks more per tire.
So is there any data that shows that Nokian's tires, perform better in winter, stop shorter distances and all the like, have better grip, or is that just an opinion?
Oh, we test against manufacturers all the time at Evelo at our test facility. You will see other tests as well, though. These methodologies vary. Some are excellent. Some they put tires on a hockey rink and try to compare, and that's just not going to ever give you accurate results because the road is never really like a controlled hockey rink. So there are tests that prove, and there are lots of European test especially. It's bigger over there, I think. A lot of the cross-referencing tests, the studded Hakkapeliitta 10 regularly wins those. There's one reviewer actually I'd point to who does a great job. Jonathan Benson of Tire Reviews tests our Hakkapeliitta products against every major tire maker out there. And he'll pick the top, I don't know, maybe 8 winter tires in the market. Yeah. And test them against each other in very controlled conditions. And we come out on top. We came out on top this past year as well.
So what's the secret sauce? Is it, you guys just use better compounds, the different treads? Like, what's the secret to always coming out at or near, that at or near the top when it comes to test results?
I think part of it is prioritization. We are always going to prioritize R&D over everything else. And while some tire makers go all in with massive marketing budgets to try to package and tell their story, we would rather spend the profit margins we are getting back on R&D. And, to do that, then we are testing in Ivalo, Finland. I've been there, it's basically nothing but reindeer, forests, frozen lakes. And so we have a compound essentially where we are testing not just winter tires, all weather tires, and even some all season as well, on 30 plus tracks that are measuring different aspects of winter performance.
You guys just came out with the Nordman North line of tires. So that's a brand new product?
So good question. Yes. So it's a value line of our winter tires. So we've made Nokian tires Nordman products for years as kind of a value line. What we've done now is we've given the Nordman a standalone brand just to make sure that consumers are a little clearer on the offering here. So we would recommend, if you are looking to, go all in on the latest, greatest premium winter tire, Hakkapeliitta is your answer. But we understand that might leave out a segment of the market that wants that winter peace of mind and wants solid winter performance. And so what the Nordman essentially is a recent generation version of our winter tires that doesn't have maybe the latest, greatest technology, but has been trusted for years and kept drivers safe for years. And so we are still making it. We're making it, our winter tires, at our factory in Finland. It still has that top of the line expertise, but it's just a little more of a value option for drivers who say, look, I understand that I want to, have premium winter products. You can have those at a price point that's a little bit more manageable, and it adds a segment of the market.
So I'm going to put you on the spot. So if I'm buying the Nordman line versus the Hakkapeliitta line, what am I giving up? I'm paying less, but what am I losing out on?
Essentially just maybe the latest generation technology that we've put into our tires. 4 or 5 years ago, people would have said this is the best winter tire in the world. And as things develop and as we've developed, it's still elite. It's just elite at a lower price point. So you're giving up a bit of that. I don't think I'm going to sit here and tell you, oh yeah, you should feel nervous about being on these. They're still solid, predictable winter performance from a respected, inventor of the winter tire. They just don't quite have that elite next level technology that, we always want to lead. We always want to be at the very front of the pack, and the Nordman is still going to compete well with many of the good winter tire options out there.
Another new thing that you guys have, and I noticed this, I think it was last year or the year before, you came out with this ice grip logo. And that, I'm assuming, is only in certain markets, or is it all over the place?
It is all over the place on our newest generation winter tires. And what that ice grip emblem means is it's a step beyond the Three Peak Mountain snowflake. Not all tires with the snowflake are created equal. It is primarily a snow measurement. And so we and other tire makers saw that there was a hole in the market to reassure consumers about more extreme winter performance. And an ice grip emblem was developed. We were among the first, if not the first, to employ it on our tires last year. So you'll see it on labels, you'll see it on some sidewalls as well. What that ice grip emblem essentially says is this tire has not just been tested in snow, but it's been tested in extreme ice as well. And it has to perform about 18% better, at least, than a standard reference winter tire to be able to have that emblem.
Everything in tire engineering is a trade-off. So you have more, you know, a tire can do better in this department, it does worse in this department. So if with an ice grip tire, what are you trading off? What's the downside of an ice grip tire?
The trade is really the standard trade that most winter tires will make, in that durability is the part of that triangle that will suffer. So essentially the magic triangle of tires, you have responsiveness to the road, you have durability, and you have rolling resistance. And our winter tires are first and foremost going to be responsive to the road. Number one, we will never sacrifice that essential safety. But when you make that part of the triangle, emphasize that part of the triangle, you really can only do two things, you know, almost flawlessly, and the third's going to suffer a bit. And that second for us is going to be rolling resistance, the amount of energy it takes to propel a car along the road. And the more rolling resistance a tire has, the worse gas mileage, the worse range, and the higher emissions, most importantly. So it's a more sustainable choice to be low rolling resistance. But what you're sacrificing there is durability. And by that, I don't mean toughness in tough conditions. But I mean, of course, the life of the tire. Winter tires, not just from us, but from most manufacturers, do not come with a mileage warranty because winter conditions vary so dramatically that a tread life warranty is almost useless. And so, you know, we would certainly encourage consumers as well to think about that when they're shopping for tires. You know, whether it's shopping for Nokian tires products or somebody else in this market, asking about, you know, the miles or kilometers they can get on a tire. Look, that's great. We all like to maximize the use. But when we're stuck in a ditch wishing we had a more responsive tire, we're going to be wishing to get to the next kilometer, not how many, you know, tens of thousands of kilometers we drove. And I think that some consumers worship that tread life. You know, it's as a bonus, it can be a nice differentiator, but when you're sacrificing responsiveness or rolling resistance to get there, you're costing yourself safety, which could also be money, and you're costing yourself, you know, fuel. So I think that's the trade-off there.
So you started off as a winter tire company, right? Am I
We
correct?
did, yes. Actually started off in 1898 as a shoe company, making soles for rubber boots, but began making tires in the 1930s. And again, the Hakkapeliitta made its debut in 1934. So yes, that was the origin of the company. We began selling winter products in North America actually in the 1970s, the late 1970s. So we have a long history of winter, but yes, we've diversified in recent years.
When people think of Nokian, they think of the Hakkapeliitta. I think those two kind of go together, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Synonymous.
So how old were you when you could spell Hakkapeliitta?
So they asked me to spell Hakkapeliitta actually the first week of my employment at Nokian Tires. I've been at the company 5 years, and we had dinner with the marketing team
Yeah.
in September of 2018, and they said, "Okay, you're one of us now. Can you do it? Can you spell it?" And I almost got up and walked out from the table because I was like, "Oh, I know I'm going to have to do this, but you know, it's one thing to be able to write it down and cross references, not at dinner,
Yeah.
you know, over drinks with colleagues." So it took a while. There's a key to it, though, by the way. If you think of the word kit, KIT, those are
Yeah.
the three letters that actually have double letters in the word Hakkapeliitta. So that's the cheat code that I've been able to use.
Now, Wes spoke about the Ice Grip logo available on some winter tires. If you'd like to learn more about these winter tires on steroids, please check out the video here. And as always, thanks for watching.